Hello and welcome to Crusader Kings, an epic Norse start, episode 0. Now I've gone back and I am filming this particular episode at the end of the 22 episode playthrough that I just completed. And the reason for that is this was the game that sparked some comments and screenshots that I posted in the Crusader Kings Let's Play Crusader Kings Facebook group, and somebody had commented that they wished that I had filmed the game that I was playing. So I'm going to give you a really brief rundown of what's going on in this game and how I got here. The first thing that I should point out is the year is 787. So the Viking Age can't start before 790. And right now the year is 787. We control all of Sweden and Denmark, part of Finland, part of Lapland, and all of Norway except for Iceland and Orkney. We are only a few provinces, so we are nine counties away from the Emperor title. Right now I've declared a war for Finnmark. After that, wars for Satakunta and Kola and Karelia should be easy, and the reason for that is the year 787, and the pagan faith has been reformed. It's been reformed. Most of our vassals have adopted it, so we can declare holy wars. We cannot declare great holy wars yet, but we can declare holy wars. So, realistically, in 2 or 3 wars, after this war with Finnmark, one holy war against Satakunta, a holy war against Karelia, a holy war against Kola. Boom, Empire of Scandinavia, right there. Maybe a holy war against Scotland for Orkney. Boom, Scandinavia is right there. The Viking Age hasn't started yet, but we have picked up the shipbuilding tech. We have the shipbuilding tech, and I believe 18 boats? 18 boats. We raise about 2,000 troops personally and send those out to go and raid and do our bidding. Saxony is very strong right now. Usually you see Saxony fracture apart and bad things happen there, but Saxony is very strong right now. We directly control Åland, Upland, not Gastríkland yet. I say yet, but I don't know if I'm going to come and play this one or if I'm going to keep playing the next 22 episodes are me then trying to replicate what I did in this game and then playing another 40 years past what I did in this game, per the comments that some people said, oh, you should have videotaped that, you should have made a video how to do that. So Nerki, which you start with, Sudermanland, which you start with, Upland, which you start with. Åland, he died, we inherited his stuff. We control these 2 counties in Finland. We control Austergotland, Ostrogothia, and Gotland. So 2 ducal titles to our name. Although I think we hold 3. Nope, we just hold the 2. So 2 ducal titles plus a shitload of counties. We're well over our domain size right now, so some of these provinces and counties have got to go. Part of that is there is a bunch of counties up here in Norway that we control. A bunch that we control in Norway, and that has to do with if you start as Sweden, this game started as Sweden, your wife is the daughter of Alfred of Ruamarki, who controls Ruamarki and Alfheimr. This guy, I made an alliance with him. He set the Become King of Norway title and just went on a conquesting spree. He, luckily, died. We didn't assassinate him. He died on his own. He died on his own and he didn't have a son. So our wife didn't inherit. but we inherited because he had no legitimate heirs. Now, the next thing that I want to point out in this game is we only have 2 children. We have a daughter and we have Ragnar Lodbrok. Ragnar Lodbrok stands to inherit everything that we have. No succession crisis, period, end of game. We're 56. Our wife is old too. Probably not going to have many kids. Ragnar's stats are decent. They're decent. He's only 21. It's going to get better. We've given him a county, and it won't let us give him more counties because Gavelkind sucks. But he's got a county. So we are Reformed Faith. We are raiding. Ragnar Lodbrok is going to inherit everything without succession crisis. We are 9 easily Holy Ward counties away from forming the Empire title. Should be doable before the year 790. I typically see the Viking Age start in the year 790. Other than that, the world is just going to be Ragnar's oyster. We're 56, Sigurd is 56, Sigurd is going to die, Ragnar is going to inherit. He'll either inherit the Empire of Norway or he will form it within the first year of him being the King of Sweden. He's going to inherit all of the titles. He'll inherit a Reformed faith, and he's going to be able to go and do whatever he wants in 790. To get to this point in the previous, to get this, with the faith reformed and this close to all that stuff, it took longer in the 22 episodes to follow this episode. And the reason why is Sigurd died at age 60. We weren't able to accomplish quite as much. We did most as much as what you see right here by about this time. I think we reformed the faith in the game right at 790, so 3 years after this. But the difference between this game and the next 22 episodes that come up is defense pacts. So defense pacts were a pretty big crutch to the 22 episodes that I filmed on how to reform the faith so quickly and how to zerg all of this territory so quickly. So in this game, I kind of got lucky, but what you'll find is the strategy, which is kind of RNG based. It's not a talent based strategy. The first episode of this playthrough, you'll see towards the end I talk about how it took me like 6 attempts. It took me 6 attempts to replicate what I did in this game. This game was my 4th ever Norse game, 2nd ever Norse game as Sweden. And what I didn't realize in my first Norse game is Sweden, and I just started subjecting people in the first Norse game that I played. I was like, oh, I can just declare unlimited wars on people until I got Sweden, and then I couldn't declare war on anybody else. And I was like, oh, this sucks. So I played some Denmark and did 2 campaigns as Denmark and realized that Denmark, it's great. You start with all of the de jure Denmark, and then you can subjugate somebody, but you can't really bring any of the other Norse lords to your banner, and then you can kind of go conquesting into Saxony. It wasn't there was some more hiccups to it. So then I decided, we're going to jump back to Sweden, because Sweden can at least declare conquest wars in Finland, where you start off with the straight bonus there. I was like, that might be better. And then I booted into my 4th ever Vikings Norse game as Sweden for a second try, and that's this game that I'm talking about right now. And I saw and realized that Denmark, and I kind of knew from the 2 campaigns that I just tried to do as Denmark, that Denmark is split between 3 counties in Norway and 6 counties in Denmark. They're split. And what's more, Harold the Wartooth, who isn't alive in this game, he's died, his son's taken over. Harold the Wartooth, more often than not, doesn't start with very good stats. His sons usually have average stats, and his vassals usually have average stats. Sweden, Sigurd usually starts with godly stats. I mean, look at the stats on 23 Marshal. That's without war focus. We're on a rulership focus right now. 23 Marshal. Fuck the rest of the stats for Vikings, but 23 Marshal. Base on Sigurd. And yeah, he's got the Viking trait, which we got from raiding. That's only one. So without the Viking trait and with being wounded right now, a 23 Martial Sigurd. If you see a Sigurd that has less than like 17 Martial, then that's like a garbage start. Then you are already right there getting the RNG low end. Because Sigurd, in the 6 attempts that I tried to replicate this, I rarely saw Sigurd with less than like 19 or 20. It was pretty standard. So what I did at the beginning of this game, within the first couple days of the campaign, I didn't waste any time. I declared war on Denmark. Took Denmark, subjugated Denmark. And there's an added bonus to that is your first subjugation war you can declare on anyone on the map that's within Diplo range. Then you can take the become king of Sweden ambition and declare subjugation wars on everybody else in Sweden. And Sweden is the biggest realistic kingdom in Scandinavia. If you picked somebody in Norway and were somehow able to subjugate Denmark, you would still have trouble bringing these 5 counties, being Orkney and Iceland, bringing those 5 counties into Norse rule, which effectively means that until you can get boats, the Kingdom of Norway is only worth 14 counties instead of the 19 counties that are in it. And Sweden is worth the 19 counties that are in it. I think Finland has 16 counties. Sweden has 19 counties. Well, it won't show me how many are in Sweden. Or Norway, for that matter. Oh, no, we don't have Norway. So Norway, 19 counties, just like Sweden, but 5 of them are out here, and if you don't have boats, you won't be able to get them. So if you can, and you want to have an overpowered start as Sweden, you attack and subjugate Denmark from the start. The other reason for this is for the holy sites. So Denmark's capital and Sweden's capital from the start are both holy sites. Then Nuamedal in Norway is also a holy site. I lucked out in my case. My father-in-law used the subjugate while he was ambitioning to become the king of Norway. He subjugated Nuamedal, and then when he actually swore fealty to me and then died, and I inherited his stuff. And after he did that, with some of the raiding that I had been doing, and some of the invasions in Finland, and keep in mind that this is Iron Man. This is in, when I loaded in, you could see the Iron Man symbol at the beginning of the screen. I didn't have enough piety, so there's no console commands or anything like that. I had enough piety to reform the faith. I have very little left now. There's only 52 left now, which a 56 Sigurd would have way freaking more than that if he could. But invading Finland, invading Lapland, coming up into Finnmarku, doing some raiding out in the world. I should also point out, here's some proof that I was doing raiding. Lyon is missing a city. We burned that down on accident. There's an event where you can accidentally burn things down. Now, that all being said, after subjugating Denmark, usually what you will see is Austergautland, Ostrogothia, will subjugate Vestergautland, Westergothia. And if you wait for that war to finish, the Austergautland wins every time. At least all of the times that I've seen so far, Austergautland has always won that war. Austergautland will then have 2 ducal titles of Austergautland, Westergautland, but both of them. And the ruler of Austergautland will he will have Oland, he will have Austergautland, and he'll have Just. And then he'll have the 2 ducal titles. So then you can declare a subjugation war because he's within the jujur of Sweden. You can declare a subjugation war on him. And when you take his primary title, if he has lands outside of his primary title with a subjugation war, and this goes for anybody, if you subjugate if you do a subjugation war on somebody and that person holds lands outside of their primary title, you will take their primary title if you are of equal value. So if you're a duke and you attack a duke for a subjugation, if that duke has a county that is outside of his duke title, which the only example I can think of is Ostrogothia, who starts with Oland. He will keep Oland, but you get all of the counties and the ducal title, all of the counties in the primary ducal title and the primary ducal title, as well as any other ducal titles, because you're subjugating. And then he will get to keep his counties outside of the primary ducal de jure area. So that's a bit of a mouthful. Feel free to ask me for more explanation on that. So after doing that, you pretty much you'll control all of southern Sweden and Denmark, except for Gotland. And what I do is I drop my Chancellor on Gotland to get a claim on Gotland, so I could go in and take that. And it procced on this. It's procced on all 3 Swedish campaigns that I've done. The first Swedish campaign that I did, I blew my first subjugation war up here in the north against somebody easy, and then Austergotland invaded Westergotland, and then I invaded them. And the same thing has happened. If you watch my playthrough in episode 2, you'll see where I attack Austergotland, Ostrogothia, they're the same thing, using them interchangeably, and I get both of his ducal titles and I get both of his counties. It has happened in all 3 of my Sweden campaigns. I've done that in all 3 Sweden campaigns. This was the second one. I did it in my first one. I've done it in my third one. Maybe everybody knows that, and I shouldn't be reiterating it, and people are going, okay, tactical gimmicks, you're a fucking idiot. So once you have Austergotland, Westergotland, Upland, and just fucking Denmark, and Denmark comes with southern Norway, you can snowball out of control. You can subjugate war your way through the rest of Finland, or through the rest of Sweden. You can start your conquest wars in Finland and have just more than enough troops to conquer them. And as you gain more land, gain more territory, become more threatening, most of Norway is still going to be single county. It's still going to be single county, and you'll have marriage ties to the strongest motherfucker in Norway, who is only 2 counties strong, and that's the guy that starts in Ramariki, and Alfmer. The guy that starts with those 2 provinces, if you're playing in Sweden, he's your father-in-law. He's the strongest motherfucker in Norway after you take down Denmark. So he'll probably swear fealty to you. You might inherit his stuff. Ragnar might inherit his stuff. In my first Swedish campaign, Ragnar inherited his stuff. This is my second Swedish campaign. I inherited his stuff. In my third Swedish campaign, he had a son. His son swore fealty to me. He didn't go conquering, and the rest of Norway stayed single counties. In the playthrough, if you watch any of the next episodes, I think Heligoland, which is right here, this guy went on a super big conquesting spree, but even he bent the knee. Even eventually, not even eventually, like actually pretty quickly, he and the rest of Norway swore fealty to you. Once you have all of Sweden, you have Denmark, you have 2 king titles, you have 2 king lands, and you're just like, you're racking up the kills, you're taking Finnish counties, you're taking Swedish counties, you're winning wars, people get scared of you, your threat goes up, and they're willing to swear fealty to you. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, all of mainland Norway, the 14 counties, the 14 counties of mainland Norway will also be in your little fold, and that will include Nuomedal. So you'll have the 3 holy sites that you need to reform the faith, some wars in Finland, and you'll be able to get the piety that you need to reform it. I think a lot of people maybe don't invest in shipbuilding, because once the Viking Age starts, you get it for free. But if you save your military tech, because shipbuilding is a little more expensive than the other techs. Oh no, it's the same. It's showing me right now that it's the same. If you drop shipbuilding on your first, and you spend the 300 prestige to get a shipbuilder, you're going to be golden. You can go raiding, and nobody has enough troops to stand against you if you go raiding. No, that's not true. Like West Francia, Bavaria, you don't want to fuck with the big cats, but like you can go to Brittany, you can go to southern England, where all of these single counties are hanging out. You can go and get in on the action in Spain pretty easily, like anywhere that's a war. I'm sure you guys, there's plenty of guides out there about how to go raiding, but even just having 6 ships, 8 ships, in my case, I've got 18 ships. If you can get out and you can get raiding before the Viking Age starts, because once the Viking Age starts, everybody's going to be out raiding, so all of the counties aren't always going to be ready and ripe for the picking. They'll probably already be looted. Um, you're going to make enough money that you'll just be able to create kingdom titles, create empire titles, and you'll be in good shape. So if anyone wants to see me play this truly OP start instead of where I've left off at what is now episode 22 of Crusader Kings and Epic Norse Start, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave me some comments, and I will pick up this campaign and go fucking snowballing, take Ragnar out and get the Ravager title, get the Viking title on Ragnar, invade Pictland, invade England, invade France, invade Saxony. This campaign has potential to be much stronger for blobbing than the 22 episodes that I recorded. At the end of the 22 episodes, where we are in episode 22, we are in one of the strongest positions. We're in a much stronger position than we are here, but that is a 40-year time difference. And without defense packs on, and without some of the RNG issues that I ran into in the Let's Play series, this campaign currently holds more blobbing potential, and certainly with the defense packs off, more potential to go out and be aggressive and just conquer aimlessly. That might be kind of boring though, so I doubt people are going to want to see that because you've all probably gone and done it yourselves. But in this case, we're zerging it. We're doing a little bit of a cheesy tactic, attacking Denmark with Sweden right out of the gate. That is like one of the strongest things that I can advocate for, and it's a fun war to fight. That is a fun war to fight, but with Denmark being split between Denmark and Norway, basically, with their counties being split between Denmark and Norway, you can split their troops. And you can divide and conquer, even though you will have less troops. You could have a 30 Marshal Sigurd from the start. You have a 30 Marshal Sigurd, and all of your vassals could have 20 Marshal, and if Denmark and all of his vassals have average stats, they'll still have 1,000 more troops than you, 1,200 more troops than you, but you can divide and conquer. If you move quickly, you can divide and conquer. You can, therefore, save your first subjugation war. I forgot to say that earlier. I think a lot of people that play as Sweden blow their first subjugation on maybe somewhere in Finland, or they blow it on Austergotland or Westergotland. I don't think a lot of Swedish players realize that if you are using your, or even a lot of Norse or just other tribal pagan players, if you use your once-in-a-lifetime subjugation war on somebody that is in your de jure kingdom, and you can take that ambition to become the king of that title, to own that title, you're wasting your subjugation war, because as soon as you take that ambition, you can even take that ambition and then declare your first subjugation war on somebody outside of your de jure kingdom. You're wasting your subjugation war, because if you have that ambition, don't have that ambition, take that ambition after you claim your first subjugation war. If your first subjugation war is within the de jure kingdom that you are ambitious to become the king of, you have wasted that subjugation war. You have wasted that once in a lifetime shot. So there's my rant. This is the campaign that started the 22 episode long series of pillaging, raping, burning, destroying, reforming the faith, reforming Scandinavia, vengeance, execution, fucking murder. This is what started it. If you want to see some gameplay from this little campaign, or if you want to see more gameplay from the 22 episode playthrough, let me know in the comments section. And without further ado, I am going to jump into some into some Total War, Warhammer 2, Rise of the Tomb Kings after this break, and hopefully we can squeeze out 2 or 3 episodes of that before I decide to head off to bed.